Welcome to Murders and Minivans, where the coffee is cold, the kids are wild, and the crimes are absolutely unhinged. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tally. Let's talk murders, motherhood, and why we trust absolutely no one.
I don't know how much of that book I have left that you are making me read. Not making me read. You recommended it, and it is actually good. But I am just at where he went back on the chat, and the person was like, "You know who I am. We've already met."
Okay, but you need to follow through with it.
I will. I'm sticking it out. Yeah.
Stephanie said that she doesn't like my book that I told her to read because it didn't have enough sex in it.
No, I told her it must have been that it had no sex in it, and that's why it takes her so long to read books, because they are not as exciting.
No, it takes me so long because I have no time.
She's not as emotionally invested as the rest of us are in our smutty books.
You should read the porn book that I just finished.
Did you give me that title? Because usually if you're like, you need to read this, I will immediately order it from the library.
I did, but I fear it's not enough porn for you.
Or I was thinking of examples like yesterday, because I think our conversations are very entertaining.
They are fun.
Because Tally was reading a suspense thriller, and she said there was some sex in it, and I teased her.
There was sex in every chapter.
I teased her like it was closed door romance, where they like alluded to something, or did she kiss him passionately, and like glance at his waist or something like mildly suggestive?
No, the exact words that you said were, did they say penis?
Oh. Did they say penis?
Oh my god. I'm trying to find this book. Look Closer by David Ellis.
Okay, I will make sure that I ordered it right now.
There's sex in every chapter.
Like from the beginning to end?
No. Well, yeah.
What is your spice rating?
Okay, so when I Googled it, it's a 2 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
I, the prude I am, would give it a 3 out of 5. Oh, for comparison, I would say Verity was like 4 for me.
Oof, Verity was a lot.
Yeah.
Verity was a lot.
Verity is 4. I would say 3.
But okay.
At the end, though, the sex made sense.
Okay.
Because I was like, the twist is crazy. It's not like one of the best books I've read. Mm-hmm. Like, I would give it probably like a 3.5 out of 5. But it's good. It's a thriller, and the twist is very interesting.
Okay. Sorry, one more time. What was the title?
Look Closer by David Ellis. It was like a viral one a while ago. Like, people weren't really nuts over it. And then it was going to be my book club pick. But I'm just going to pick something by Leanne Moriarty or whatever, because it's like a safe one.
Yeah, that's kind of been a hit. The other one that we did of hers.
Yeah, which was also my pick. So I'm like, I'll just go with this one. Nobody's going to be offended about murders or whatever. Like, sex.
Yeah. Slow down. Mm-hmm. It's true. Ooh, I have 5 books ready for pickup already.
Yeah, I know. It comes at you really quick because Brian will always go and pick it up for me, and he's like, you have like 7 books. I'm like, oh my god, okay.
Yeah, they come in a chunk, and then I have like a dry spell. I think some of these are ones you have told me to get anyway. Golden Spoon?
That's not me.
Jess maybe told us. Once You're Mine, A Game of Love and Betrayal. No, that sounds like a book of mine. Yeah, that doesn't sound like when you recommended.
No way I would read that. I haven't gotten the book club book yet.
Oh, I read. Yeah, it's a pretty quick read.
Yeah, it still says like, and I ordered it when you said, it must have been like in January, honestly.
Okay.
You said it's busy, like there's a long wait for it.
Yeah, she had warned us. That's why I got it like last summer.
Yeah, so I got it January because you had reminded us. I'm like, there's for sure it'll arrive before April.
Well, I think there were lots of copies too. That's why I'm surprised you still don't have it yet.
Yeah, I'm like queue position 5 or something.
Oh wow.
So, and it's gone down from like 48.
Holy moly. Yeah. So yeah, they told me sometimes that happens when like our library has their own copy and people who are local get priority.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why you're moving maybe a bit closer.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We're making the big trek. We have another dance competition tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's right. That makes sense.
Yeah, everyone was supposed to be off school, but all the school divisions, everything's so wonky.
It's so annoying.
It's bizarre.
How were your 17 Easters?
Ugh. They're done.
So many Easters.
They're done. But my cousin did cancel at the last minute today. So he's like, we'll still do dinner one time. I'm like, oh, damn it. Like, in a good way, it's just that we've done so many Easters because for some reason they just couldn't line up. And so we hosted so many Easters.
I would just be like, this is the day that I'm hosting. If you can't come, don't come.
Done Easter. Done Easter.
That's just me being mean.
No, that's fair. And then I had someone who was just like, no, this is the day I can come. I'm like, I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah.
My sanity is going to be so sad.
I'm very much done. And I only had 3. Like, I had our friends one, my family's, and then Brian's family. And I'm done.
I had to help Neil polish off some of those eggs because then Dad made more eggs
for
the next Easter.
But whose eggs were better?
I like yours. Neil likes Dad's.
Neil is on my shit list.
Because Dad puts, I think he grates carrots. So he really liked your dill pickle ones. Those are his new favorite of yours. Because there's more crunch in them.
Yeah.
He likes the textures. So I think that's what Dad does. Does Dad like celery or grated carrot or something? There's a little more crunch in Dad's. But I liked yours.
And you know what? My sister lied to me.
Uh-oh.
We were both always Hellman's people. And then her husband says to me at our Easter, because I also made deviled eggs for that Easter.
Mm-hmm. They're always a hit.
Yeah. And he says, Yana's going to lie to you. And she's going to say that she still likes Hellman's, but she actually prefers Miracle Whip now. She would neither confirm nor deny it.
Why did he even say anything to you? It sounds like he wanted to stir the pot.
Well, and
classic pot stirrer.
And I think she didn't deny it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a betrayal that I can't. I don't know how to deal with.
I even talked about it in my family. I'm like, nope. Tally's very passionate about mayonnaise and not Miracle Whip. They're not the same. Because my dad is pretty confident in his Miracle Whip. I'm like, why do you even have it?
I hate it. There's no point in it for me. People will say, oh, you could put it on dressing. You can. You could put it on salads. Is it appropriate? No.
Yeah.
I have my list.
You're very passionate.
That I hate.
Oh, that's okay. You're allowed to be passionate.
Hellman's, all the way.
Hellman's and microplastics, those are hills to die on over here.
I have a list of things that are my hills to die on.
Yeah.
One of them I can't mention on here.
Okay.
But I will say it's Hellman's, Edmonton.
That's always one, though.
Yeah.
That's not a new one.
Die on. I don't think I could say the other ones.
Okay. Yeah. Cutting boards are a new one.
Yes, microplastics, cutting boards.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't get a plastic cutting board.
No,
that's like
arguably
the worst thing you can use.
Yeah.
We still have one, and I have it as like an emergency backup one. But then in the trailer we have only plastic.
Yeah.
So now we have to think about.
I have the not Arbonne. What's the other one called? Norwex. They advertise having like a bamboo-y type one. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it seems plasticky, but it's hard, like some of those composting things. Anyway, that's our camping one.
Oh, okay. I mean, use it like 3 times a year. So it's...
I know. What do we really eat camping? Sandwiches.
Yeah.
So you're not really using it. Veggies that are already cut up.
The one trip that we went on, you guys ate hot dogs for all 3 meals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not sick of hot dogs, Brian.
Because Neil was in charge of cooking, and I was like, fuck it, let's just eat hot dogs. And we didn't have a fridge because we were tenting. Yeah. Not many choices.
Oh, hot dogs.
We learned a lot of things on that trip.
That was so funny.
1, we're getting a trailer. 2, we need a fridge in the trailer.
Well, you had ice cream. You had the dairy-free sherbet, so you didn't have just hot dogs.
Yeah.
So you did spice it up a bit.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Sometimes we get a bag of veggies. I don't know. Yeah, we learned a lot of things on that trip.
That was hilarious. Okay.
Sorry. We can start now.
That's okay. I'm going to start this one with a joke. And I'm going to say it badly. And it's not a joke.
Oh, I was like, knock, knock. I was ready.
No.
Okay.
It's not a joke like that. I'm going to say, good morning, Vietnam.
Oh.
But how does he say it?
Good morning, Vietnam. That's an old one. That you just made us old.
Yes. And why am I saying that? Because we have Vietnamese listeners.
Oh, nice.
Or people that live in Vietnam.
Thanks, Nam.
But, like, that's pretty cool.
That is very cool, actually.
Also, we have Australia and other cool countries. But it's cool when we get somebody outside, or, like, groups of people outside of North America.
That is neat.
I checked right before, and I'm like, what?
Cool.
Yeah. So and South Africa.
Wow.
Yes.
Alrighty.
So South Africa and Vietnam.
I don't know how to reach out to you, but we appreciate you
And
sticking with us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And because we have an Australian listener, I will not.
No, yeah, don't don't do it now. They're gonna stop listening.
Oh no. Clear. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll get into it.
All I have is like Bluey. That's all I got in my brain.
You know what? Bluey's a great show.
It is a really cute show.
I always caught myself. They're over it now, but I caught myself like watching it after they left.
Yeah,
it's really good. What happens next?
That's our comfort show.
Yeah.
Honestly, still, I have it in the van when they're like starting to lose their marbles, or we're just like tired and they want something in the background. I still have 2 seasons of Bluey in the van.
It's great. I love
it's
Bluey.
our comfort show. Like as adults, Neil and I will watch a cartoon as like a comfort show. I get it. We still go to like kids movies with the kids, but we enjoy the movies.
Yeah, the movies are really good.
It's like if we have Bluey for another, I don't care how long. I won't say a word other than right here, telling the world that we used to watch Bluey sometimes.
I love Bluey. Bluey fans.
It's cute. Like my father-in-law got us on the show when we were living with them for like, was it 6 weeks?
Yeah.
While we were waiting for this house. And so my father-in-law loves having cartoons on for his grandkids in the morning. Cute. Because then they'll just like snuggle, kind of be quiet.
Yeah.
But that's his thing. He wants to do for his grandkids. So when we go up in the summer too, they always have cartoons on in the morning. And he loves Bluey. Like, it's funny. He will laugh out loud with them.
Yeah. And teaches them good lessons.
It is. And it's sweet.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nice show.
But you know what? And Bluey parents, like the parents, I forget what their names are in the show. They really got parenting
Chewie
down.
and Bandit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They don't lose their patience at all. And I'm like,
Very rarely. They like redirect and do a game. I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm thinking when I'm overstimulated.
Yeah.
Like, everybody be quiet.
Maybe that's just like the Australian
wishful
gift.
thinking. They just know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Also, guess what we're doing if Alberta separates? Coming to you, New Zealand and Australia. Probably New Zealand. Sorry, there's big scary spiders in Australia.
Yeah, so if Alberta separates,
you're getting a mass influx of Albertans.
I don't know how we'll ever do a podcast.
We both have to go to New Zealand.
I can't. I want to go there. In theory, like it seems really nice. Even Australia seems really nice. Mm-hmm. 2 things that freak me out about Australia. Number 1, obviously, the bugs.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm not sure that my body and mind could ever have like Christmas and summer.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Because December's their summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the kids are off school.
Yeah.
But then they start school January, which really in theory makes sense. Yeah. You should start in January, but I don't think so.
Mine was more practical. Like, how do I get the dogs there?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a very long boat or it's a very long plane ride.
Yeah, it's a long
and I don't want them to die on the way. So
I mean, people have done it before.
Yeah, somehow they must have done it.
I'll take Robin. I'll take him and I'll move to Saskatchewan. And then our plan is we're going to keep going east. That was my joke.
It's a good one.
But now we'll actually get into the case.
Okay, that's fair.
It's awful.
Awesome.
Also a little long.
Okie dokie.
But here we go. Today we're going to dive into one of the most polarizing, devastating, and still somehow actively debated events in modern American history. Waco.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I only know it because of Fixer Upper, though.
Oh, yeah, this is not
a nice story.
Not
about
at all.
Fixer Upper.
Yeah. So, 51 days, 4 federal agents dead on day 1, 76 Branch Davidians dead on the last day, and 20 of them were children. This one doesn't fit very neatly into a box. There's not like one clean villain that I can hand you and then just walk away. There's a lot of victims here, a lot of kids who had absolutely no say in this. And the decisions that went into this range from very misguided to just like very catastrophic.
Uh-oh, okay.
So let's get into this. We'll start with David Koresh. But his name was not David Koresh. He was born Vernon Wayne Howell on August 17th, 1959 in Houston, Texas. He's a Leo.
Okay, thank you. I was just about to clear my throat pointedly.
Yeah. This is not Leo slander. I love Leos. I would say most cult leaders Leos.
Interesting. I wonder why. My sister's a Leo, and I don't think I'd follow her anywhere. In a loving way. In a loving way.
Well, yeah, that's because you're her sister.
Yeah. No,
But they're like naturally charismatic and charming, and they can grab attention, and they're warm and friendly and sunny, you know? And people, once I describe this man, you're going to say, that doesn't sound like him. But I digress. His mother was 14 years old when she had him.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. His father, Bobby Wayne Howell, was 20. Crime!
Yeah.
And he wasn't around for long. By the time Vernon was 2, his parents had split. His mom, Bonnie, was struggling. She was a teenager trying to figure out her own life, and she had an abusive first marriage that fell apart fast. Around 1962, when Vernon was about 3, she made the decision to move to Dallas without him.
Oh.
Yeah. She placed her son in the care of her own mom, his grandma, and an older aunt. And that's the part that's kind of hard to get past because his grandma raised him as her own. Mm-hmm. And then his mom would come in and out and just would play the role of an aunt, I guess.
Oh, that's too bad.
Vernon didn't know the truth until he was 5 when Bonnie finally got herself stable, married a merchant marine named Roy Haldeman, and decided that she was ready to bring her son home.
That's sad.
That's tough for the kid.
Yeah.
So at 5 years old, somebody sat this kid down and told him the woman that you think is your mom is actually your grandma, and the woman that you think is your aunt is your mom.
Was that necessary?
I don't know. I guess I struggle with that a lot too. You should be honest with them, but
yeah,
to what extent?
I know. Well, and it's one thing if they had gently said it the whole time, so we always had an understanding, so it wasn't as much of a shock.
Yeah. That revelation, being lied to about who he was from birth, was something that David Koresh carried with him and talked about for the rest of his life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It became part of the mythology that he built around himself. It was his hidden truth. It was his real identity obscured by others.
He was 5.
Yeah. I know. There's something almost very on the nose about that when you look at what he ends up becoming. Mm-hmm. So things didn't improve much once he was with Bonnie and Roy. He described his stepdad as difficult, and he said that around the same time, around age 5 or 6, one of his mother's male relatives began to sexually abuse him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of had the shitty end of the stick, didn't he?
Yeah. So we don't know for certain what happened because he's the only source for that claim, but it does track with what we know about the pathways that produce people like him. Mm-hmm. Early childhood chaos, broken attachments, abuse, and a desperate need to create a world where he finally had control. Mm-hmm. At school, things were rough for him too. He had dyslexia, which went largely undiagnosed and untreated. He had poor eyesight that nobody caught for years, which compounded the reading difficulties. He was put in special education classes and he got bullied. He described his childhood as deeply, painfully lonely.
Yeah, probably. It sounds like it.
Very sad. Mm-hmm. Things got a little bit better around age 12 when he discovered that he was athletic. So he developed physically, got into sports, and found some footing, but it didn't last. He dropped out of Garland High School in his junior year, and he ended up having a 9th grade education for the rest of his life. Something that he talks about often, almost as though it's a badge of honor. Look what I built with the 9th grade education.
Yeah.
I when I was writing this, I'm what did you even know in 9th grade? I was trying to remember what you would even leave with. You would leave with, I guess, a little bit of social.
You wouldn't start any of the higher math.
No. Well.
It's bio 10, 20, 30, chem 10, 20, 30, physics.
To be fair to him, I did not leave with any math in my brain.
Yeah, but you graduated. Yeah. You have a diploma.
That's true.
You have a few more years of education on this.
I don't know where it went, though. So he worked odd jobs after dropping out, and he was fired from most of them, or he walked away. Nothing really stuck. At 19, he got a 16-year-old girl pregnant.
Ugh.
She decided that he was unfit to be a father, moved away, and then refused to let him see the child, and he never met that daughter.
Wow, okay. Mm.
So by the time Vernon Howell was 20 years old, he had no education, no career, no family connection, and no child that he ever met.
Do you think the education he missed was sex ed and learning how to use a condom?
Probably.
But
although, yeah, I'm where did that teach? It's probably different in the States.
Oh, yeah, true.
But we learned it pretty early, grade 5.
Wow, okay, really?
Yeah. Actually, they say that you should be teaching, talking about it with your kids.
City kids.
At our oldest kids' age, that we should be talking about it now. And I'm I don't know how to broach that subject.
No, I'm not going to talk about it now.
Yeah, that's kind of my attitude. I'm if there's a question, I'll address it.
Like there's tiny like natural like flows of conversation, like because they know that I get my period every month, and so I say that it means there's no baby in my tummy.
Yeah.
Because otherwise my body would need that to build a tiny human.
Oh, well, you're more advanced than I am.
That's
like, sometimes I bleed.
They're gonna be like, Jesus, could I like spontaneously bleed?
Yeah. No, I did explain it, but not in that sense.
Oh, see, and I remember, like, I do this for a reason, because I remember my mom, she's talking about her birth story to someone, and she said she had, her water broke both times when she was on the toilet. Sorry if this is TMI, Mom. But so then she just told me it was clear pee. And so when I was little and drank a lot of water and I had clear pee, I'm like, oh my God, do I have a baby in my tummy?
Oh my God.
I had zero understanding. Zero understanding. It was just that I drank a lot of water and I was very hydrated. And so my pee was very pale.
That's so funny.
So I was like,
you're
well,
pregnant.
maybe something else will tell me if there's a baby in my tummy. Like I had no understanding. And I think I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Like, just not a...
You're just connecting dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that you know how.
Interesting. So maybe that was a situation here. Like maybe he didn't actually have sex ed.
Maybe.
Condoms must have been around by then. I don't know.
This wasn't the Dark Ages.
No. He had a childhood full of abandonment and abuse, and a brain that, despite all of it, maybe because all of it, was working overtime and searching for meaning. And he found that meaning in the Bible. He joined the Southern Baptist Church, and he described himself as a born-again Christian. And then he started attending his mom's church, which was a Seventh-day Adventist congregation. And here's where things start to get telling. Fun fact, we have one of those around here.
I went to actually my first year of college when my roommates was Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
And then I had a Mormon roommate the next year. I'm like, what is this world?
Trying to get you.
Yeah.
He memorized the Bible, not in like a casual way. I didn't know if there was a casual way. But he memorized it deeply, obsessively, chapter and verse across multiple books.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. He was functionally unable to read well, but he had an extraordinary auditory memory. So he absorbed scripture the way that other people absorb music.
Okay.
He could hear it once, and it would stay with him permanently. Very cool trait to have.
Wow, yeah, interesting.
Could have done better things with that. For a kid who had been told his whole life that he was slow and that he couldn't learn and he'd never amount to anything, this was his proof that they were all wrong. And then he met the pastor's daughter. Ooh. Her name was Sandy Berlin. She was 15 and he was 20. They began a 2-year relationship, and at some point, Koresh went to the pastor with what he framed as a divine revelation. God had spoken to him and told him that this girl was meant to be his wife. He says that he'd been praying for guidance, and when he opened his eyes, the Bible fell open to Isaiah 34:16. None shall want for her mate. And he took that as a sign, a direct message, and proof that God was talking to him personally. The pastor threw him out of the church.
Wow. Well, because his daughter was 14.
Yeah. Also, good call.
Yeah.
If anybody tells me that God is speaking to them, I'm like, goodbye.
Yeah. Oof, that's a pretty heavy conversation.
Yeah. The congregation was done with him, like completely. He'd been fixating on young girls, like you said, and wrapping it in scripture, and the people around him were repulsed by it, and he was expelled.
Good for them. You know what? Good for them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. You never hear this in stories like this.
No. Like, I don't begrudge anyone's beliefs.
No.
But this could have gone a worse way, and I really respect them
for sure. I agree. This is the moment that I keep coming back to, because this is where a person with any self-awareness would pause and they would wonder, is this actually coming from God? Is this coming from me? Am I mentally ill?
Yeah. Do I need a therapist?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Koresh did not pause. He was not the kind of person who ever seriously entertained the idea that he might be wrong. He was humiliated, he was rejected, and he left. And then he went looking for somewhere else to be believed. Now, before we get to where he landed, we need to talk about his name. So Vernon Howell didn't become David Koresh until 1990. He filed a legal petition in California to change his name, citing, I'm not making this up, publicity and business purposes.
What?
Yeah. That was granted on August 28th, 1990.
Wow.
The name wasn't chosen randomly. Every syllable of it was intentional. David, as in King David of the Old Testament, the lineage from which the Messiah would descend, and by naming himself David, he was claiming a direct connection to that bloodline.
Wowzers.
Congrats to all the Davids in the world.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Koresh. That is a Hebrew name for Cyrus the Great. Cyrus was a Persian king who freed the Jewish people from the Babylon captivity. In the book of Isaiah, Cyrus is referred to as a Messiah, the only non-Jewish figure in the entire Hebrew Bible to be given that title. Koresh, in that context, means the anointed one who liberates God's people.
Whew.
Listen, you said you want a religious cult.
Yeah. Oh, I said cult.
Oh.
You took some creative liberties. No, that's a good one. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
It gets insane.
Excellent.
So the full name, David Koresh, translates roughly to the anointed liberator descended from the Davidic line.
Oh, that's a lot of thought.
So he built his own name into a theological argument for who he was. That's not a confused man, it's a deliberate one. So in 1981, Vernon Howell made his way to Waco, Texas, and he walked through the gates of a place called Mount Carmel Center. To understand what he walked into, you need a quick history lesson. The Branch Davidians were a splinter of a splinter of a splinter. Okay. So it starts with a man named Victor Hutev, a Bulgarian immigrant who broke away from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the 30s. Victor, I'm not even going to try his last name, believed that he had a prophetic message about the imminent return of Jesus Christ and the defeat of the forces of Babylon. He called his group the Davidian Seventh-day Adventists, and they settled outside of Waco on a property that they named Mount Carmel, after the mountain in Israel mentioned in the Old Testament book of Joshua. Victor then died in 1955, and his wife Florence took over. Then 4 years later, in 1959, Florence announced that she had received a revelation. Armageddon was coming.
Oh my.
Not eventually, but now, and members were told to gather at Mount Carmel immediately and prepare. They sold everything, houses, cars, savings accounts, and they moved onto the property and waited, but nothing happened. Which, I'm going to say, every year, there's some sort of religious group that says Jesus is coming back. Armageddon's coming. It was a big one in 2012. Then in 2020, when COVID hit, they thought that Jesus was coming back. Listen, if this is a thing, nobody's ever going to fucking know. So if anybody ever comes to you and says, hey, I think that Jesus is coming back, and you should, there's people in the last one that happened this year. They gave their cars to their neighbors. Holy. They wrote the title of their homes to random people because they truly believe that Jesus was coming back. Yeah. This was a recent one. I can't even remember when it was.
2012, was that when the Mayan calendar ran out?
Yeah.
No one was like, maybe we're tired of doing the calendar. It doesn't all fit on the slab anymore.
Yeah. I don't even know. And I don't know the reason for this last one.
Or was it just because COVID and everything was scary? And they're like, well, this is probably
Well, they had one during COVID. But then there was another big one. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't hear about the other one. What do you think they did after? Do you think anyone went back off the mountain?
They said, there's a couple people that said that divine timing is never right. I'm like, I think you're just gaslighting yourself, man. Just say you fell for something and move on.
You're a victim now. Yeah.
No one is ever going to actually know.
No.
That's my 2 cents. I am your cult leader.
Step into my office.
My cult leader message to you is nobody will know.
Yeah. Nobody's going to know.
So the failure of that prophecy destroyed a lot of lives. People had liquidated everything they owned based on Florence's word, and that group fractured. A man named Benjamin Roden stepped into the void, reorganized the community, and then renamed it as the Branch Davidian Seventh-day Adventist Association. He brought new theological ideas, kept the apocalyptic framework, and then he built a small but very devoted following.
Okay.
Then Benjamin Roden died in 1978. His wife Lois took over. She had a son, George, who fully expected to inherit leadership of the group. But Lois had other ideas.
Oh.
She looked at George, who was unpredictable, aggressive, and unstable, and said, no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then a 21-year-old named Vernon Howell walked through the gates.
Oh, my.
Now, Vernon was young, and he was charming. Dare I say,
charismatic.
I knew it. And he played guitar. He had an easy, approachable way about him that was completely
disarming. It's very kumbaya
disarming.
of you to say that he played guitar.
Right. It is. Again, cult leader checklist.
Yeah.
Guitar.
Acoustic. You don't even need to know all the notes.
No. Just it's like a guy around the campfire. Mm-hmm. There's always one.
There is. To get all the chicks.
Not anymore. I feel like I wouldn't fall for that anymore. I'd be like, oh, it's enough.
Oh, I'd still fall for it. I'm quite sure.
God, Neil's going to pick up playing guitar.
He does every once in a while.
He would be that guy.
I know. He'll tinker with the kid's ukulele. Because he, for a brief period of time, thought he was going to church school. Mm-hmm. And so he would, even in college, he went to a few like Bible study groups, and there was always a guy with a guitar, and he's like, I need to be that guy.
Oh my God, he would be that guy. If we're ever sitting around a campfire and he breaks out a ukulele, I will fully lose it.
I think I meant to get him one for like his 30th. I just kind of forgot about it, but now the kids both have ukuleles, so he'll like play around and strum around sometimes. Yeah, it's great.
I'm going to start learning guitar. It's going to be his midlife crisis.
Like if he picks up a guitar and then that's the joke. It's that, or if he ever has his motorcycle again, like it's scary and I fear for his life, but whoo, that's a good way to get me pregnant.
The ukulele?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not a ukulele. If he could pick up a full-size guitar.
You heard it here first. You want to get into Stephanie's pants, just get a ukulele.
I'm just putty in your hands.
Anyways.
It writes itself.
He had an easy, approachable way about him that was disarming. He didn't look like a prophet. The Waco Tribune-Herald would later describe him as a man with dimples who claimed a 9th grade education, married his legal wife when she was 14, enjoyed a beer now and then, just like a regular guy.
Where'd you get it?
Yeah, right? Played a mean guitar, and also reportedly carried a Glock 9mm.
Ay, ay, ay.
And he willingly admitted that he was a sinner without equal. I'm saying that in my best Texas accent.
Wow.
That was a real newspaper description, by the way, from 1993. Now, Lois said, you can start attending services. By 1983, she was just letting him teach services. He had developed what he called his first major revelation, a message that he titled The Serpent's Root, which caused immediate controversy in the group. And Lois's son, George, saw Howell as an interloper and resented him openly. There are accounts, including from survivor David Thibodeau's memoir, suggesting that Lewis and Vernon began a sexual relationship.
Wow.
Now, Lois was in her late 60s, and she told members of the group that God had ordained it. Now, Koresh, so Vernon, I'm just going to start referring to him as Koresh, claimed that he was meant to father a child with Lois who would be the chosen one.
Oh, okay.
I don't think at 60 you can do that. But who am I?
Yeah, who are you to say? Yeah. We're not doctors.
So whether or not that's true, Lois gave Vernon increasing access and authority. She was grooming him, however she understood it to be her successor. Now then, David Koresh / Vernon announced that he was marrying Rachel Jones. Rachel was 14.
Ugh.
You know?
Again with this.
I know.
Like cult leaders, you could be with a regular aged person. It would be less bad.
Literally. 18. It's right there.
Do you think it's because they're so impressionable?
I think so.
Yeah.
And but also so is an 18-year-old. 18 is like barely legal.
Yeah, your brain's not developed yet still at 18.
Like,
maybe even 19-year-old.
So gross.
So he didn't have a baby with that older lady?
No.
Well, probably not for lack of trying.
But I'm bummed.
I'm on a roll.
Her parents gave him permission.
Oh, ew.
In Texas at the time, that made it legal. She took his name and she became Rachel Howell. Now, the announcement calmed George down temporarily because Howell was making a claim through a legal marriage rather than a relationship with George's own mom. But the peace didn't last. $500,000 administration building on the property burned down. George blamed David Koresh Howell.
What?
And David Koresh said no man started that fire.
Okay.
No man started that fire.
Like lightning in a dry season, maybe?
I don't know. In 1984, George forced David Koresh and his followers off the property at gunpoint. So David Koresh left Mount Carmel with roughly 25 followers, and then he relocated to Palestine, Texas, 90 miles east of Waco. They lived in buses and tents for 2 years. So think about what that means for people who actually followed him.
I know, he's so pissed.
Yeah. They weren't desperate or uneducated. Over the years, he actually had attracted followers from Australia,
whoa,
the UK, and Israel.
How?
Charisma. I don't know.
Internet?
Did they have internet in 93?
Oh my God, are you kidding me right now? Did they have internet in 93?
Well, they had internet, but it was like, I even remember using internet in like the late 90s, and it was just awful. I can't imagine
like
him
dial
going.
up, but I don't know how he would get followers from different countries.
I don't know. Actually, I should have looked that up. But I digress.
Mm-hmm.
So there were musicians, teachers, people with families, people with careers that they had walked away from, and they chose to live in buses in rural Texas because this man told them God had a plan. That level of devotion does not come from nowhere. It comes from years of teaching, like Koresh's ability to take the Bible, specifically the book of Revelations, and make it feel like a living document with a direct message for each person who was sitting in that room. He had a gift for making people feel chosen and seen, and part of something that really mattered. During the Palestine years, Koresh kept recruiting. He traveled to California, Australia, the UK, and to Israel. So there you go.
There. He traveled. Okay.
Yes. So he believed, or said that he was the modern-day Cyrus the Great. He told people that God had given him a vision in Israel, confirming it. People came back with him. Fun fact, I touched Jesus' grave, or tomb, in Israel.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember, there was a lot of people crying, and they were very emotional, and then I was 18, and I'm like, just kind of poked out. I don't know what to do with it.
My grandpa has photos. I have his old, because he was in the army.
Oh.
So the Canadian Army was over there, so he has photos of that. And then the Wailing Wall and stuff. I don't know a lot about it, but yeah, he has photos.
The Wailing Wall is cool.
I don't even know if you'd still be allowed to take photos of it, actually.
You could take a photo, I know for sure last time I was there. You could take a photo from, up high. Mm-hmm. I think there's a photo of me and my sister together when we were, much younger. Mm-hmm. And... the photos from this trip were really funny because she was mad at me the entire trip. Oh, why would she? I don't know. She's a teenager. Oh, okay. And I was very young. And so I think I was annoying her the whole time. But in every picture of these beautiful landmarks and majestic things that her grandparents took us on, she's just pouting the whole time. So there's a picture of us I know for sure that exists at the Wailing Wall, and she's just upset, and I'm happy.
That's a younger sister thing to do.
It is.
You probably knew exactly what you were doing.
Sorry. So meanwhile, George Roden's grip on Mount Carmel was deteriorating, and he was becoming more erratic and more violent, and the community around him was falling apart. But then Lois died in November of 1986.
Oh, okay.
With her gone and George now fully unhinged, Koresh and his exiled followers began to wonder if there was maybe a way back. So then George did something that pushed everybody over the edge. He dug up a body from the Davidian cemetery.
Nope. Yeah, he's lost it off the deep end.
A woman named Anna Hughes, and she issued a challenge to Vernon Howell, David Koresh, that whoever could resurrect Anna from the dead was the rightful leader of the Branch Davidians.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys fucking okay?
No.
Jesus.
Yeah, they are no not okay. Not okay.
So... reads like something out of a horror movie, but it did happen.
That is very scary.
Yeah. And George, who had reportedly attempted to resurrect Hughes on 3 separate occasions before this, wanted resurrection contest, which is fucking insane.
Wowzers.
Now, David Koresh went to the sheriff. He said that George was abusing a corpse and needed to be arrested. And the sheriff said, bring proof, a photograph of the body. So on November 3rd of 1987, David Koresh and 7 armed followers crept back onto Mount Carmel property. And then they were trying to photograph Anna Hughes in her casket as evidence of Roden's crimes. But George found them.
Ooh, uh-oh.
And then a gunfight broke out. The sheriff arrived 20 minutes in. George had already been shot and was pinned behind a tree. And then Koresh Howell, I wrote them interchangeably, but I'm talking about David Koresh, and his 7 companions, the press called them the Rodenville 8, were arrested and charged with attempted murder. At trial, all 7 of Koresh's companions were acquitted, and the jury deadlocked on Koresh himself, but prosecutors didn't push for a trial. Separately, while all this was playing out in court, George was jailed multiple times for contempt. He had been filing court documents full of profanity and threatening a judge with STDs.
Oh my gosh. What a crazy person.
He was by any measure completely unraveling.
Yeah, obviously.
And then in mid-1989, George murdered a man named Wayman Dale Adair with an axe.
Wow.
Adair had visited George to talk about a vision that he had had and that he was the true Messiah. And then George killed him for it. George was found not guilty by reason of insanity, and he was committed to a psychiatric hospital in Big Spring, Texas, and then he would die there in 1998.
That's probably, it's probably the safest place for him.
Yeah. So now with George institutionalized and the property in arrears, George owed like tens of thousands of dollars in unpaid taxes on Mount Carmel.
Okay.
And then Koresh ended up raising the money, paid the taxes, and then took legal control.
Wow. Okay.
It's like an
opportunity.
Kind of smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Bought the land. Got in there.
Not
their leader was crazy.
I'm not glorifying David Koresh, but just like
No,
certain
not
things
at
that
all.
he did. Like if you use this literally for anything else.
Not evil. Yeah.
So he walked back through those gates. This time he was the undisputed leader, and he was only 30 years old. So once Koresh was in charge, the compound began to take shape around his theology, and his theology was getting very specific. Around 100 people were living at Mount Carmel by the early 1990s. They had converted the main chapel and a water tower into apartments, and the property had been pared down to about 77 acres. It was very crowded. It was very rough, but it revolved entirely around David Koresh. Daily life at Mount Carmel was structured around his schedule. Bible study sessions could go for hours, sometimes all night, and Koresh would hold court, walking through the book of Revelation verse by verse, cross-referencing it with Daniel, Isaiah, and the Psalms, I think. He'd build those elaborate theological arguments that seemed to demonstrate conclusively that the end times were coming and that he was at the center of it. The people in that room, though, were not stupid. A lot of them were genuinely intellectually engaged by this, and because Koresh was a gifted teacher when he wanted to be. Mm-hmm. He made the Bible feel alive and urgent in a way that trained clergy often can't. And former members described sitting in those sessions feeling like the scales were falling from their eyes, like they were finally understanding what the scripture was actually saying. And then in 1989, August 1989 to be specific, Koresh released what he called the New Light was delivered on an audio tape. Audible.
Love it.
The core message was that God had spoken to him and told him that it was his sacred duty to father a new house of David, and that his seed was special. Sorry to say that to you when you're drinking tea.
Yeah, that was an interesting... That almost came out of my nose.
His children would be the 24 elders who would rule alongside God after the end times, and to fulfill this prophecy, he would need multiple wives.
Ooh, typical.
They always get multiple wives.
Are they all young, too? Yeah. Ugh.
Every woman at Mount Carmel of childbearing age, and he set that threshold at approximately 12, was now spiritually his wife. The men who were already married to those women were now required to be celibate. Koresh framed this as a blessing to them. By releasing the burden of sexual desire, they could focus entirely on Bible study and becoming worthy before God. So he told married men that they can no longer have sex with their own wives. He told them that his access to those women was God's will, and then he said, "Be grateful." Which is, and people said,
so pissed?
People were like, "Yeah, you're right." What the fuck?
That's outrageous.
I know. So some members though didn't. There were members who left, but many did stay. Because by 1989, most of the people at Mount Carmel had been in Koresh's orbit for years. So he'd been methodically building their dependence on him. Mm-hmm. Not just emotionally or spiritually, but also practically. Some members had left jobs and cut off family members and moved across the world to be there. So leaving wasn't as easy. Mm-hmm. And it also meant that if they left, they would admit that everything that they had given up was for nothing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So
yeah.
You've really gotten people's
weak. Ego. Yeah. One of Koresh's most documented wives, in quotes, was a girl named Michelle Jones, Rachel's younger sister.
Ew.
Michelle was 12 when Koresh declared her as his spiritual wife. To cover this up during investigations by Texas Child Protective Services in 1992, Koresh assigned Michelle a fake husband, a young musician and follower named David Thibodeau, so that she would appear to be in a legitimate relationship. Thibodeau said that he had no real role with Michelle, it was just for appearances. And the CBS investigation found nothing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. So Koresh also fathered children with multiple women, most of them underage. Former member Janine Bunz, in an ATF affidavit, said that she had personally delivered 7 of Koresh's children. She said that he had fathered at least 15 children with various women and girls, and that when couples joined the group, Koresh would effectively dissolve their marriage, claiming exclusive access to the women.
Ew.
Sorry about that noise. My cat wants exclusive access to me. Mm-hmm. On a videotape sent out of the compound during the siege, Koresh himself acknowledged fathering more than 12 children by several wives. Thibodeau, who survived the fire, which we'll get to, and wrote a memoir about his years at Mount Carmel, said in 2018 that while he considered Koresh a friend, he now accepts that Koresh was either a polygamist or guilty of statutory rape, probably both.
Yeah, probably both.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Now, alongside the theology, Koresh was building something else. He was genuinely theologically convinced that the book of Revelation described an imminent physical battle between his followers and the forces of Babylon. Babylon, in his reading, was the U.S. government.
Wow.
The lamb, in his reading, was him, and the final confrontation was not a metaphor, and it was really going to happen, and that his people needed to be ready to fight and to die. So they stockpiled weapons. The Branch Davidians ran a legitimate firearms business called the Mag Bag. Paul Fata, one of Koresh's senior followers, was a federally licensed firearms dealer.
Wow.
They sold guns at shows across Texas. What a Texas thing.
Yeah, wowzers.
The paperwork was in order, and nothing about the business itself was necessarily illegal. But alongside the legit businesses, they were doing something else. They were buying semi-automatic AR-15s and M16 parts kits. So kits that contained every component of a fully automatic weapon except for the lower receiver, which is the legally designated firearm part. When I was doing research on this, I'm like, I'm not Googling that.
No.
There's some things I will not Google.
No, you don't need that on yours.
So with those kits, a semi-automatic rifle can be converted to fire automatically. So that conversion is a federal crime without the proper licensing.
Okay.
They were also buying grenade shells, black powder, 90 pounds of powdered aluminum, 30 to 40 cardboard tubes, inert grenades, which they were converting into functional ones.
Wow.
How do you even buy that without like flagging something?
I don't know. I have no idea.
So they had over 45 AR-15 upper receivers and 5 M16 upper receivers documented in ATF records. Neighbors were reporting machine gun fire coming from the compound at night. A local farmer who had served overseas in the army told the sheriffs that it sounded like a .50 caliber machine gun with multiple M16s firing.
Holy moly.
The UPS driver that was making constant deliveries to Mount Carmel noticed that a package had split open on delivery. Inside was at least half a dozen grenades.
Jeez Louise.
And he also knew that they had been getting deliveries from arms dealers for months. He called the sheriff's department, and then the sheriff called the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms Federation? I don't know.
No.
So here's also something that gets buried in the bigger drama. When ATF agents visited the Mag Bag gun dealer in July 1992, the dealer tried to get them to just call David Koresh. He said that Koresh would welcome an inspection, and then Koresh himself apparently said, yeah, you can come and inspect anytime. That he would let agents come in and look at the weapons and the paperwork. But the ATF agent declined.
What?
There are things that the ATF could have done that might have led to a very different outcome. Accepting that invitation to talk was one of them. Instead, they decided to open up a formal investigation, classified it as sensitive, and then started to plan a raid.
Ooh, okay.
So while the ATF was building its case, there was a parallel story developing in Waco itself. 2 reporters at the Waco Tribune-Herald, Mark England and Darlene McCormick, had been investigating the Branch Davidians for months. They had been talking to former members, to neighbors, people who had left the compound and wanted somebody to know what was actually happening inside. And what they were compiling was detailed and damning. They titled their series The Sinful Messiah. The ATF found out about this and then freaked out. So they had been building towards a raid, and they needed the element of surprise. So they made
because they were publicizing it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they made contact with the Tribune-Herald editors and asked them to delay publication, first citing February 22nd as the raid date, and then pushing it to March 1st. But then they gave no date at all for the raid.
Oof.
The paper held off for weeks out of what appears to be genuine cooperation. Then on February 24th, ATF agents met with the staff at the Tribune-Herald, and then they couldn't give them any clear timeline. But the paper said, we're just going to publish it.
Yeah.
On February 27th, 1993, the first installment of The Sinful Messiah hit newsstands across Waco. The opening passage read, quote, "If you are a Branch Davidian, Christ lives on a threadbare piece of land 10 miles east of here called Mount Carmel. He has dimples, claims a 9th grade education, married his legal wife when she was 14, enjoys a beer now and then, and plays a mean guitar. reportedly packs a 9mm Glock and keeps an arsenal of military assault rifles and willingly admits that he is a sinner without equal, unquote. Ugh. So it reported allegations of statutory rape, child brides as young as 12 or 13,
Ew.
physical abuse of children, polygamy, and, of course, Koresh's claim that he was entitled to at least 140 wives.
I feel like this number keeps going up.
I know. So David Koresh read it, so he knew what was coming.
Ugh.
February 28th, 1993, codename Showtime. The ATF had originally planned the raid for March 1st. They moved it up a day after the Tribune Herald published that article, apparently believing, despite everything, that speed was still on their side, but it was not. The element of surprise had evaporated before the paper even went out to print. A local reporter who was following up on the story and trying to get out to the compound stopped a mail carrier for directions, and that mail carrier was David Jones, Koresh's brother-in-law.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Dummy.
So now Jones went back to the compound and he told Koresh. But here's the part that is almost unbelievable. The ATF already knew that their cover was likely blown. Their undercover surveillance across the road from the compound, which was agents in their 30s driving new cars, not enrolled in any local schools, keeping no schedule, consistent with like legit employment, had been very transparent.
Yeah.
Koresh had seen through it very early. He'd also identified their undercover agent, Robert Rodriguez, long before the raid. He just hadn't said so out loud.
Oof.
On the morning of February 28th, Robert Rodriguez made one final visit to the compound. It was his last check-in before the raid. Now, while Rodriguez was inside, somebody handed Koresh a copy of the Tribune Herald. Koresh looked at it, looked at Rodriguez, and said words to the effect of, quote, "They're here, the time has come," unquote.
Wow.
Rodriguez left, got in his car, called his supervisors from outside the compound, and told them directly, "Koresh knows the raid is blown, call it off." Mm-hmm. His supervisors decided to proceed anyways.
Oof.
At 9:44 that morning, cattle trailers pulled up to Mount Carmel. The doors opened. 76 ATF agents poured out. The ATF had been told that all of the weapons were stored in a single locked room that only David Koresh could open. But that information was wrong. David Koresh had distributed weapons throughout the compound the night before. Most of the adults inside were armed. Agents had been given almost no information about what the Branch Davidians actually believed, what they were prepared to do, and how the compound was laid out.
That would make a big difference in how they designed the raid.
And they're just going in blind.
Yeah.
Insane. So the gunfight started almost immediately. How it started is still disputed. The ATF says that the Branch Davidians fired first. Survivors from the inside say the opposite. A Branch Davidian named Wayne Martin called 911 during the firefight. The call is on record. You can hear the chaos in his voice, and he's screaming that there are men with guns shooting at the building and that people are being killed. Whoever fired first doesn't really matter because the result was the same.
Yeah.
The shooting went on for hours. An ATF agent named Todd McKinnon was killed. Steve Willis, Robert Williams, and Conway LeBleu also died. 4 federal agents dead before noon on a February morning in Texas. 16 more agents were wounded. Some were shot trying to climb onto the roof. Others were pinned in the open field with no covers. Some were also carried away from the scene, bleeding heavily, and a third of the assault team was dead or injured by the time a ceasefire was called.
Holy moly.
6 Branch Davidians also died that day, including a man named Peter Gent, who was shot from the air. The ATF had helicopters. And then a 24-year-old named Jaden Wendell was also killed. Winston Blake, Peter Hipsman, Michael Schroeder was shot and then killed trying to return to the compound after the ceasefire. Koresh himself was shot twice, once through the wrist and once in the left side, a wound that caused him pain for the rest of the siege. He spent much of the following weeks dictating from a mattress. Weeks.
Wow.
Now, this caused the ATF to pull back, and then the FBI took over. When federal agents are killed in the line of duty, jurisdiction shifts to the FBI. So Hostage Rescue Team, which is the Bureau's elite tactical unit, established a perimeter, and negotiators got onto the phone. What followed was 51 days of conversations that, in retrospect, came very close to working. David Koresh was on the phone constantly. He talked for hours at a time, dense, winding, scripture-heavy conversations that left FBI negotiators exhausted.
Yeah, probably.
And bewildered. They were trained for hostage situations, and they had frameworks for dealing with criminals who wanted something concrete, but this was different. Koresh didn't want money. He didn't want a flight to Cuba. He wanted to be heard. He wanted to explain the 7 seals of Revelation and have somebody acknowledge that he was right. He genuinely believed that if the right people would just listen to his interpretation of Scripture, they would understand why everything was unfolding the way that it was, including the standoff itself, which he prophesied. Says he did. The FBI treated it as a hostage crisis, which meant their primary goal was getting people out of the building. Koresh's framework was entirely different. His followers were not hostages to him. They were exactly where God wanted them to be, preparing for what was coming. Children were released throughout the early weeks of the standoff. Ultimately, 21 kids made it out. Koresh was more willing to release other people's children than his own.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just with his mind and how this has gone so far, because those were like his meal ticket.
Yeah, it's gross. When negotiators pushed on his own kids, he said, quote, "My children are different than those others," unquote. Just like you said.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
His kids were part of the house of David, and they had a role in prophecy. The FBI's tactical people were meanwhile doing things that made the negotiators' job harder. They cut power to the compound. They flooded it with darkness at night. They pointed floodlights at the building and then ran them throughout the night. They played recordings through loudspeakers, strange, irritating sounds designed to disrupt sleep and destabilize the people inside.
It would be so scary for the kids.
I know. Oh, God, the documentary on this was horrifying.
I wonder if this is the one that Neil watched. And I kind of like walked by. I'm like, could you watch it quieter? Like, I didn't want to hear it. It sounded awful.
I know there's like a reenactment movie documentary, and then there's also like a real documentary on it.
Okay, I think there was a reenactment, but I don't know if this is the same one.
Probably.
Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of these.
Unfortunately.
No.
There are accounts of them playing Nancy Sinatra at full volume at 3 a.m. and recordings of crying babies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
I watched this when I first had pee, and I was like, dude, turn it off.
Nope. No, I don't like that.
The negotiators were quietly furious about this.
Yeah, they are making it harder. That's awful.
Yeah. Every time the tactical team did something provocative, it undid whatever trust had been built on the phone. The two sides of the FBI operation were working at cross purposes for 51 days.
Yeah, no wonder it took so long.
By mid-April, something genuinely significant happened. Koresh said that he had received a new revelation, specifically a message about the 7 seals. He said that if he was allowed to write out his full interpretation and send it to religious scholars around the country, he and his followers would come out of the compound. So he began to write. A religious studies professor named James Tabor, he had been in contact with the negotiation team, and he believed that Koresh was serious. James had been engaging with Koresh's theology on its own terms, not dismissing it or arguing against it, but like actually working through it carefully. Mm-hmm. He believed that there was a real opening and that David Koresh was looking for a way out that felt theologically coherent to him. But the FBI said no.
Oh, that's a shame. Because he would look at it as an academic, almost exercise.
Yeah.
Like, how can I make this make sense to him, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Why would he feel this way? What could we work with that he feels this way?
Just fucking give it a try, man. Like, at this point in time...
Obviously, what you're doing isn't working.
Yeah. Again, it's just ego.
Yes.
They heard 51 days of promises that had not materialized. They believed that Koresh was stalling, and then Attorney General Janet Reno, who was newly confirmed in her position, authorized the plan that the FBI's tactical team had been developing. A CS gas assault to force the Branch Davidians out.
Oh, no.
Yeah. On April 17th, Reno signed off, and then on April 19th, they moved.
She wanted to make a name for herself.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Well, she did.
Yeah.
The plan was straightforward on paper. Armored vehicles, modified M728 combat engineers vehicles. They would breach the walls of the compound and insert CS gas through extended booms. The gas would be introduced gradually, making conditions inside increasingly intolerable, forcing people to come out. A few things you need to know about CS gas in an enclosed space. In open air and small doses, it's just an irritant, and it causes burning eyes, skin irritation, and coughing. It's uncomfy, but it's not lethal. Mm-hmm. In a sealed, poorly ventilated wooden building, pumped in at a volume over the course of hours, it becomes significantly more dangerous.
Oh, okay.
So CS gas is also not non-flammable.
Ooh.
So there's documented evidence going back to the 1960s that CS gas can ignite under certain conditions. The compound at Mount Carmel was made largely of cheap, dry lumber. Much of it was improvised over years of amateur constructions. Mm-hmm. The Branch Davidians also had no electrical power because the FBI had cut it weeks earlier.
Candles.
So the primary heat and light source was Coleman lanterns burning fuel.
Oh.
It was like a fucking tinderbox.
Yeah.
The FBI knew that.
Oh.
Yeah, and they said, we're just going to do it anyways.
That's awful.
So at approximately 6 a.m. on April 19th, the armored vehicles began their approach. They punched holes through the walls of the compound and gas was deployed. The FBI says the gunfire came from inside almost immediately. The Branch Davidians who survived say that actually never happened.
Oh.
So whatever the first few minutes looked like, the gas just kept going in. There were swirling clouds of it spread throughout the building. The Branch Davidians inside had no way to escape it. They soaked cloth in water and wrapped it around their faces. And then just before noon, around 12:07 p.m., or afternoon, fire broke out.
Oof, yeah.
Not just in one place, though, in 3 simultaneously at different points in the building complex. The Mount Carmel Center was now fully engulfed in minutes. The flames were visible for miles. There was people watching on TV where the standoff had been broadcast almost continuously for 51 days, watching the building burn. 9 people made it out of that fire. 9 out of the 80-some people who had been inside.
That's so sad.
76 Branch Davidians died. Among them were 20 to 28 children. The exact number has never been confirmed. David Koresh died of a gunshot wound to the head. So did his second in command, Steve Schneider. Whether those shots were self-inflicted or they were fired by Schneider, who reportedly killed Koresh and then himself, that's never actually been determined conclusively. Okay. The cause of the fire is officially attributed by the Department of Justice to the Branch Davidians themselves. Audio surveillance recordings captured voices inside discussing pouring fuel on piles of hay as the fire started. The 3 simultaneous ignition points suggest that it wasn't an accident, and the FBI maintains that none of their agents fired live rounds that day. Critics, including several former FBI officials, journalists, and legal scholars who examined the evidence, dispute the official account. Mm-hmm. They argue that the CS gas created conditions that made fire nearly inevitable, and that the armored vehicles crashing through the walls may have overturned lanterns, and that the combination of panicked people and then accumulating gas made the building essentially explosive. Ugh. Some people allege that live rounds were fired from the outside, but the evidence, there's no evidence really. Mm-hmm. What is not contested was that the building was gone and 76 people were dead.
Yeah, that's horrendous. Like, you're crazy, but you don't deserve to die.
No, it's psychotic.
That's so sad.
The survivors were arrested. 9 people escaped the fire, and they were tried on federal charges, including conspiracy to murder federal officers and aiding and abetting the voluntary manslaughter of federal officers.
Okay.
Like, relax.
That's a bit of a stretch.
You fucking caused a fire and killed like 80 people.
Yeah, not everybody was trying to be violent. Some were peaceful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
5 were convicted of voluntary manslaughter. 2 were acquitted of all charges, and the sentences ranged from 3 to 40 years. Those who were convicted have since been released. The 21 children who got out in the early weeks of the standoff went to relatives and foster care.
Oh, thank goodness they got out, though.
I know. They were evaluated by a team led by Dr. Bruce Perry, the chief of psychiatry at Texas Children's Hospital. Perry initially reported that the released children did not appear to have been victims of sexual abuse, but in a follow-up piece published May 1993, he noted that the children had become increasingly open about 11 and 12-year-old girls being referred to as David's wives, and that the status of the wife clearly included sexual access.
Oof.
Yeah. Perry described the children's environment as one saturated with inappropriate concepts of sexuality and a range of destructive emotional tools like shame, coercion, fear, guilt, intimidation, humiliation.
No.
He reiterated that assessment as late as 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. So these were not children who came out unscathed. They grew up carrying what happened in that compound. Janet Reno, who authorized the final assault, later called it the worst decision of her professional life. She said that if she had known what the outcome would be, she would not have approved the operation. FBI Director William Sessions publicly contradicted Reno in the immediate aftermath. She had told reporters that they had specific information that babies were being beaten, which is one of the justifications for the assault. Sessions said that the FBI had no such information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There would be some paper trail somewhere if that were truth.
I feel like if you're already admitting that it's the worst decision that you've ever made, just be honest.
Yeah.
Like, lay it out, all out.
I made a giant mistake. Should have made that call. I was fresh in office and trying to make a name for myself.
Yes.
At least that would make sense. Not this weird, people were being babies. That never sounds like it was on par.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he abused 12-year-old girls or women as young as 12 in his mind. But never was he abusing babies.
No. And
From any of the other accounts, anyway.
Yeah, like, and I believe the stuff that there's, like, coercion and shame and whatever going on, but my God.
Yeah.
So, the contradictions between officials and the unanswered questions about the fire and evidence that negotiations may have been working, all of it
coalesced.
That's the word.
There you go.
Into something that didn't fade away. On April 19th, 1995, exactly 2 years to the day after the fire at Waco, a 26-year-old Army veteran named Timothy McVeigh parked a Ryder truck outside of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. That truck contained approximately 4,800 pounds of homemade explosives.
What?
That bomb killed 168 people. 19 of them were children at the building's daycare center. It was the deadliest domestic terrorist attack in American history until 9/11. McVeigh chose April 19th deliberately. He said so. He cited Waco and Ruby Ridge, which was a 1992 standoff in Idaho, where federal agents killed a man's wife and teenage son as his primary motivations. In his telling, the federal government had declared war on its own citizens, and he was fighting back. He was executed by lethal injection on June 11th, 2001. So what happened in Oklahoma City is not David Koresh's fault, and is not the ATF's fault or the FBI's fault. McVeigh made his own decisions, and he killed 168 people. That's that. But Waco gave him his narrative, and Waco gave the narrative to a movement. The American militia movement of the 1990s was built in significant part on Waco as a symbol.
Ugh.
Not as an accurate account of what had happened. Many militia members had wildly inaccurate ideas about the details, but as a proof point. Federal agents with tanks and military equipment rolled up to a religious community in rural Texas, and that community ended in fire. That image, regardless of the context behind it, became a recruiting tool for anti-government extremism for decades.
That's awful.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
So it echoes in discourse still about government overreach, and Waco's in the background of conversations about gun rights, federal authority, religious freedom, and the boundaries of law enforcement power. I think the easy version is to pick a villain and assign blame and then move on, but it doesn't really do justice to what happened here.
Yeah.
David Koresh was a man who was shaped by abandonment, abuse, and a relentless need to be seen as special. He found in the Bible a system that, when filtered through his particular mind,
his version of reality,
produced an unassailable argument for why he was chosen. He memorized it, internalized it, and then used it to build a world where he had absolute power over women, children, and men who were required to hand over their wives to him because God said so.
Ugh.
He took a 12-year-old girl as his wife and covered it up with a fake marriage. He fathered children with women and girls who had no real ability to say no. And he told his followers that they were going to die in a battle with the government, and he spent years building conditions for exactly that outcome. He genuinely believed everything that he said, or he'd convinced himself so thoroughly that the distinction stopped actually mattering to him. And that's what makes him different from a simple predator and what makes him harder to understand. He was not just running a con, he was living inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
The ATF made decisions that were just fucking horrific.
Yeah, there's definitely an overreach, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Well, especially because they were nonviolent. So, like, before they got wind of this, they weren't collecting weapons, right?
They were.
They were collecting weapons, but they never went and did anything.
No, I don't think it wasn't as planned out.
Yeah.
And they had, like, the ATF had months to find a less dangerous way to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
They were offered an opportunity to just talk to David Koresh, and they said no. They received a direct warning from their own agent on the morning of the raid that said that the surprise was gone, and they went anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Their intelligence about the weapon situation was wrong, and their plan assumed that conditions didn't exist.
Feels like an ego problem.
Oh, big time. That's all it was. Yeah, it was just a battle of egos. 4 agents died because of those failures, and those 4 agents were people too. They walked into something that was not given accurate information to prepare for. Mm-hmm. And then the FBI's 51-day operation was fractured from within. Negotiators were getting somewhere, and then the tactical team kept ruining it.
Yeah.
And then the decision to end the standoff with CS gas assault on a wooden building full of people.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. So none of the dead inside that compound, not the men, women, and certainly not the children, had asked to be born into the situation or had a real chance to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
The question of who lit the fire has never been solved. The question of who built the conditions for it is harder to dispute. There's a lot of people making a lot of bad decisions over a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
David Koresh was 33 years old when he died.
That's bananas.
Mm-hmm. Mount Carmel burned to the ground, and a new chapel was eventually built on the site by surviving members of the Branch Davidians community. And some of them are still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The survivors who went to prison have since been released. And yeah, like I said, Timothy McVeigh was executed on June 11th, and he declined a final statement. Nobody's ever going to know what happened in Waco.
Yeah.
Also, I thought of this at the end, and I'm like, I'll put this at the end in case she has to cut it out. How old was Jesus when he died? Because I think he was 33. He was 33.
That's bananas.
Because in astrology, 33 is called like your Christ year or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, like I can't even remember what that really means.
Hmm.
But interesting that David Koresh was 33 and Jesus was 33.
What were you doing when you were 33?
I don't know. I had C.
Yeah, how old was I? I married at 26, I think. So 28-ish. So I was momming.
Yeah, I think.
We were here.
That was only 2 years ago. Why can't I remember that? Huh. Nothing substantial. Not running a cult.
No.
Fucking missed opportunity,
I was
apparently.
not leading all these people on this grand revolution.
Yeah.
No.
Anyways, that's when you said cult, I'm like, I got the one.
Yeah, you really took that and ran with it, didn't you?
There's a few, but Waco sticks out to me just because when I consumed all of that, I'm like, I still think about it.
Yeah, it's a big horrendous one.
Yeah. Anytime somebody talks about Texas, I'm like, oh, right.
Why can't you just think of nice things? Like
It's just
normal people.
That's not how my brain works. I'm so sorry.
You know what I know of Waco? Murder. I was like,
Cult.
fixer-upper.
I know. I'm like, oh, she knows. Fix her up.
No. Yeah.
That's true, actually. And it's funny because when that show became popular, I was like, weird. And that's where the cult thing
The rest of
happened.
us were enjoying the fixer-upper show.
Yeah.
One of us was like, there's hidden darkness here.
You know what? I don't like the husband.
What? Chip?
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Is he too charismatic for you?
Or he's a victim. I don't know. There's
What?
something in that dynamic. It's not right.
I don't think so. Oh.
I don't know.
I think you're wrong.
Controversial hot take. Didn't they get divorced?
No, stop it.
Hold
They're
on.
happily married with a
I don't want them to get divorced, but like
plantation of children.
a plantation of children. I don't think you could say that.
No, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I meant like they have a nice farm area and they have a big family. They have like 4 or 5 kids.
It's because he's a Scorpio. That's probably why I don't like him.
Oh.
No. Listen, I love Scorpios. Scorpio women. Oh, and you know what? She's an Aries.
Oh, well, that explains it.
I gotta do some soul searching.
Uh-oh.
And every time there's like, when I watch Love is Blind, this specific season, there were so many Aries women, and like, I hated them all. And then I looked at their signs, I'm like,
Ruh-roh.
I should look at that internally.
No, I can't remember. There's someone around here. I was talking to them. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. But they actually go to Waco, Texas every year because they do like a, what is it, between silent. They do a little marathon there. But it's for Magnolia Table. Like it is the fixer-upper people.
Like in memory of Waco?
No, they host like a marathon because now they have like a whole area. The store, they have a little bakery, they have a restaurant. They have multiple like Airbnb type buildings now. Tons of stuff.
Maybe they're a government plant to try and get rid of people talking about Waco.
Maybe.
Like, or talk about Waco in a positive
Wasn't
way.
that the joke when like Trump was in? He's like, send in the floozies, because all of a sudden you hear about like some of these singers that you're like, wait a second, they're still around? There's a joke about that. The first time he was in.
God, can't believe there's a second time.
Yeah.
What kind of world are we living in?
I truly thought it was a big like cosmic joke. I was like, no way, this is not real life.
I know.
There's no way. I was waiting for like a gotcha for years.
It was funny in 2016. I remember I was pregnant with P.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that she was a girl. And I like the polls had said, oh, Hillary's going to win like by landslide because Trump was a joke.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh, I'm so excited to have a girl and have the first female president.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like feeling real emotional about it. And then I watched the like live election and I'm like, what the fuck? And then
what is happening?
Same thing. What God, what year was it? Was it 2025 that he came back into our lives?
Something, yeah. That's shocking.
And then again, the poll said there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh great, female president again. Like I can tell the girls about it. And sure as shit. I was just horrified. I was horrified.
Yeah.
And here I am, still horrified.
Yeah. Well, we're scared every day, I think.
Oh yeah. Every time he like talks or posts something, I'm like, I don't.
Can you stop? Please stop. Everything's scary now. Everything was less scary.
I know. I read his like Easter Sunday message, and people are like shocked and outraged. I'm like, I'm not shocked. I'm outraged, but I'm not shocked.
Oh, I didn't read it.
Oh, what did it say? Hold on.
How bad was it?
Oh, it was pretty bad. Okay, this is his words, not ours.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, and this is on Easter Sunday.
Okay.
When Jesus is risen?
Yeah.
Right. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking straight,
oh my God.
you crazy
Okay, maybe
bastards.
I didn't want to hear this because this is scary.
Oh, it gets worse. Or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. You can't say that on the day that Jesus was resurrected. I'm not even religious.
Yeah.
And
That's bad.
I know.
I know we don't have video yet, but my hands are on my face in a shocked expression.
And he defended it.
A la Macaulay Culkin. Like, I cannot get over those scary, psychotic words.
I know. And so I read it and I was like, oh, Jesus. Like,
I miss the Queen. She always had really nice messages.
I know.
My mother-in-law used to, like at Christmas, because the Queen would always address the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? Did you what?
Probably.
My mother-in-law is very much looks at the royal family.
Yeah.
And so every year she would play the royal message from the Queen.
I would follow her like somewhat, but then now well, wait, okay,
it was never going to happen.
Let's pose a question. Would you marry the prince? I mean, they have cute faces. And they're the prince.
They were cuter with the head of hair on top.
Yes, but they're with they're royalty. And they say, Stephanie, will you be my bride?
So are you asking me what amount of money and prestige do I get?
No, just would you give them a chance even though they're balding?
No, I made that mistake. I went on a date with a bald guy. Two different guys.
The prince is asking you to go on a date. And you say,
do I know he's the prince?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard if you're not attracted to someone at all to give them a personality chance. That's why I don't believe this Love is Blind thing.
You should watch it.
I don't know if I can because I don't believe it.
I know, But that's the fun part.
But that's part of like naturally meeting someone, I do believe. Like what makes you walk up to someone and talk to them? It's because you're attracted to them in some way.
That's true. I don't think that Love is Blind, but you should watch that show.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah. I just heard one of my kids' doors open.
I didn't. You have very good ears. Anyway.
Or I'm gaslighting myself.
Maybe you're hallucinating. Doesn't matter. We can wrap this up anyways.
Like an hour, 30 minutes. Okay, sorry for ruining your day.
Bye.
Bye.